Hello, America. This is Joe Simons, like diamonds. Got my brother Luke. Luke, you there?
I sure am. Hopefully you can hear me all right.
Loud and clear, man. Well, we've got a cool one here today. We got Jonathan and Kelsey Dickinson from Florida FreeDivers. You guys there?
Yeah, absolutely. How's it going?
Looking good. I like the logo behind you there.
Well, thank you.
And so tell us where you guys are and where you're based and what a little bit about what you're doing.
We are Florida FreeDivers, and we're based in Lake Park, Florida, which is near Palm Beach. And we own the largest spearfishing and freediving store in the U.S. And we do a lot of courses. We sell a lot of retail. We rig spear guns. Pretty much anything and everything we need for freediving or spearfishing, we can take care of you.
And I heard you say the largest one in America.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, now I know why we have you on here. This I did not know that. That's so cool.
Pick the right people.
I love it. But one thing we really liked, and my brother Luke and I have obviously spent some time on your side, is you guys are out there teaching and educating and really just bringing a lot of awareness to the salt water and safety, which is so important. My brother Luke has taken a course on that, on getting down to that 60 to 70 foot range, and I was asking him how it went. He said so much of it was just safety, because that's really what it comes down to. It's one thing to be able to hold your breath for 3 minutes. It's another to get down there and do it the right way without hurting yourself or someone else, etc. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge component, right? And as Luke, as you know, it's really just a matter of technique. And it's so funny. Everyone has this conception of, oh wow, you held your breath for 3 minutes. That's impossible. I could never do that. When in reality, it's just a matter of technique. And once you handle that technique and get that squared away, it becomes just almost really easy.
Yeah, that was the takeaway that I had as well. I was going into it, I was so focused on, so worried that I wouldn't be able to hold my breath for 3 minutes, and yeah, it was shockingly easy once you just learn the simple techniques, and it's something that I never would have figured out on my own. So I'm just so happy I took that course, and the safety was by far the most important part of it. It's very safe if you do it properly, but if you don't know what you're doing, if your partner doesn't know what they're doing, it could be a dangerous thing. So.
Right. Sure.
Cool. And so in your office there, you have like a classroom for courses. You sell everything you can possibly imagine, right? I mean, for diving and spearfishing, etc. Like, you guys are the place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting, right? Because we get a lot of international customers, because we are so close to, we're in South Florida, and so we have a lot of yachting industry that kind of comes and goes in our area. So we get a lot of people that have literally traveled the world. And so it's always interesting to me. If I find someone that's been around the world, I always ask, hey, what dive shops have you been to that are honestly cooler than mine? And a lot of the responses that I get are just a blank stare, going, what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't exist. And so it's really kind of, that's my little bragging bit of it. But it's great. I love to hear the fact that guys walk in, their mouths kind of hit the floor because they're like a kid in a candy store. We have over 100 different masks to choose from. We have over, 60 different spear guns. We've got probably 40 different wetsuits. So, we have the bare essentials, and then we have everything in between. All the little accessories and things that you might never be able to find, you can touch and play with here in the store.
So cool. Well, Luke, you and I will have to make a trip there, and I'm going to take just your credit card there, Luke.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Luke, I think you got the next question.
Yeah. So just overall, what would be your most memorable either fishing or spearfishing memory that you have? Either it's a unique catch or just a close call, but I guess the most memorable thing. What comes to mind first?
My best fishing story was when we went to Harbor Island, which is in the Bahamas, and we were there. In the Bahamas, you can only use slings and pole spears. Yeah. And so I was using one of the pole spears that we sell here, and went down and I saw a fish. And in the Bahamas, they have seasons and things for Nassau groupers. And so I went down and I was like, I'm pretty sure I can shoot that fish. Let me just make sure. So Jonathan was safetying me, and I went up and I said, Jonathan, there's a fish down there. I think I can shoot it. Like, go check for me. So he went down, and he's coming up, and his eyes are big, and he's like, yeah, why didn't you shoot it? I was like, because I didn't know. I just wanted to make sure. And So he was like, go shoot it. Hopefully it's still there. So I was like, okay, Kelsey, you need to calm down for a second. So I calmed down, got my composure, took my big breath, and went down, cocked my pole spear, and I'm looking at the fish. I had a hint of feeling bad for it for a second, staring at me. And I let go, and I got him, and he was in a hole, like, underneath the coral. And so I stuck my hands in, and I was kind of thinking that it might take me a couple dives to, you know, from when I shoot him to go back down and get him and all that kind of stuff. But I stuck my hands in, and I grabbed him, and I pulled him to me, and I was hugging him, and went back up to the surface, and Jonathan was screaming at the surface, like, look at you, look what you did. And so I was so excited that I got my very first grouper in the Bahamas, and it was a good size, too. And so we got back to the place where we were staying, and there was a lady there who cooked for us, and, like, was really awesome at cooking. And so she didn't even flay it. She, like, left the fish whole and cooked it and put all these lemons on it, and so it was pretty, felt pretty fancy with your fish laying out on the table for everyone to.
And it was a big group of guys too. So like, Kelsey, like grouper that she brings to the table, and you know, this chick slaps a fish on the table, which is always pretty.
I love it.
Fun. But then Jonathan, of course, couldn't let his wife show him up or anything, and so. The next we were out diving, and we put like a ski rope behind the boat, and so you just like stay at the surface mostly, and you watch the reef, and you see if the reef gets better or worse. If it gets better, then you can, you know, yell at the boat and they'll stop, and then you can dive there some. So we were doing that, and one of the guys starts hooting and hollering, and so we stopped, and Jonathan ended up diving down with a pole spear.
So, but yeah, like Kelsey was saying, we're dragging behind the boat, and we have a Bahamian with us who kind of knows the waters and knows the area, and he's really, really cool guy, really good diver, really good spear fisherman, but he's kind of known for exaggerating a little bit. He sees, a shark come in, and the shark's all of a sudden the size of the boat, which we all know isn't really true. Or if he shoots, a nice sized fish, it's like a 60-pounder, or something huge that's ridiculous, and really it was only like, maybe 5 to 10 pounds. So he's just kind of jokingly always known for being this kind of over-exaggerator. Well, he's screaming at the top of his lungs, I saw a huge monster, saw a huge one. He's right in that rock, he's right in that hole. So I swim over, I'm like, okay, Dave, what's going on? And so he's telling me all about this huge, huge fish. And
he said he's as big as a bus.
And I'm thinking, like, okay, like, here we go. Here's like a 20-pound grouper that's stuck in this hole. Like, that's going to be awesome, but, no big deal. So I don't know how much you guys have kind of spearfished or dove together with a group of guys, but if you're, in a little bit deeper water and you're trying to point out a specific rock or a specific hole, the deeper you are, the harder it is, right? You can imagine if, something's really close and you point to it, you'll know where it is. But if it's really far away, it's that 6 inches up here turns into 60 feet on the bottom. So, that's always a process of trying to, have someone else tell you where that fish is. So he tells me the hole in the rock, and he's like, oh, see that bent piece there? It's past that piece of coral. It's, this hole right here. So I was like, all right, well, here we go. So I load my pole spear, and I take off. It was in like 65 or 70-ish. I get to the bottom, and I look in the hole that we were talking about on the surface, and sure enough, that was the right one. So he was actually sitting sideways, just kind of looking at me, and I was like, oh, wow, this is actually a big fish. Like, this is way bigger than expected. And, because I expected a not as big a fish as he was yelling about.
Yeah.
So I look in the hole, and I'm just like, holy cow. So I load my pole spear, and as soon as I line up, he was looking at me, and he just kind of turns over and gives me the top of his head, which is like, that doesn't happen. Like, they just don't do that.
And that's exactly what you want to
And that's exactly what you want to happen. So I was like, okay, well, this fish is too big for me not to pull the trigger in a sense, without the trigger, obviously. But honestly, my first thought was, there's no way I'm going to land this fish without shattering my gear. But at least if I have a broken off piece of pole spear stuck in the fish, we can go find it later.
Good
So
thing we own a dive shop.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, whatever. So I let it fly, hits him right in the top of the head, and his mouth just pops open. And so what this means is that we call it stoning a fish. And so I'm sure you guys have seen all the videos on YouTube or Instagram where the guys shoot the fish and they just roll over, right? They call them stone. And so sometimes grouper will have this effect where they like get stunned for a second, but then as soon as you touch them or touch the spear, they go ballistic. So I was hoping that I just had him stunned long enough where I can get him out of the hole. So I hit him, I grab him by the lips and kind of turn sideways and yank him out the hole and put my arms around him and just start swimming to the surface. Well, it didn't really feel like an easy swim to the surface, and I'm just like, I still haven't really looked at the fish yet, and so I'm swimming to the surface. I finally get there. I hear Dave screaming like crazy. I hear all my other buddies going nuts, and so we get to the boat, and boat comes over, and I go to pick the fish up out of the water and hand it to the boat. Well, when I do, I sink down in the water, and I'm like, holy cow, like what is going on? Like this should not be that hard to lift this fish into the boat. So I finally take a second and look, and the fish is almost as long as me, and I was like, holy cow, this is absolutely huge. So Kelsey comes around, and we all come around the side of the boat. We drop the side door, and I literally shamu up into the boat with this fish. And long story short, it ended up being an 84-pound black grouper, which is my biggest fish on a pole spear.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's hard to beat.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was unbelievable.
So it was the one time Dave, your buddy Dave, behind me and Dave did not lie, or exaggerate.
Good. So that was by far our most memorable experience, and the coolest part about that was that we got to share it together because Kelsey was in the water with me as well, which was really cool.
Yeah, it sounds like an awesome week. That was all in the same week. That's those two stories.
All in the same week.
So cool.
I want to go to the Bahamas after hearing all that. Jeez, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome place.
So what part of the Bahamas was it?
Harbor Island.
Oh, Harbor. Okay, that's right. Got it.
Yeah, it's like near Eleuthera.
Where's your favorite place to dive? You can go anywhere. Where would it be? You think in the world? Anywhere?
For me, it would probably be honestly be the Bahamas. There's a lot of spots in the Bahamas that are just untouched. And even if you go a little bit further south, like kind of near Cuba, there's a place called Quesao Bank, and there's no inhabitants there. Nobody lives there. It's just a bunch of random islands, and a bank in the middle of nowhere, and it's amazing. I mean, lobsters that are just ridiculously big, hogfish that are everywhere, grouper that are everywhere when they're in season. I mean, I went there once for a 7-day trip after I graduated high school, and we just lived on the boat, and it was unreal is what it was.
Yeah, I would probably say the same thing. The more remote areas in the Bahamas would be great because a lot of the Bahamas are a little bit shallower too than some of our stuff here, and so there's just so many fish there, and like Jonathan said, it's a little bit more untouched, and so the water's really beautiful and nice there.
I love it. Luke, was it Chub Cake Club we used to go, Luke, where we would spear around?
So, yeah, that was young. We were probably, at least I was probably about 12 at the time, but yeah, I just remember it was just so many fish, and the water's crystal clear. It was just really, really awesome.
Yeah, and the amount of lobster down there was just absurd.
For sure.
Well, so tell me this. Is there any kind of fish that you just would love to spear, like one that's on the bucket list, if you will, that you've never had a shot at, or maybe you've had a shot and missed it? Is there any kind of bucket list fish?
For me, I would probably say the mahi is the one that I would most like to shoot. I think they're beautiful, and I have had a shot at them before, but they're too far away, so I didn't get them, but I really want to.
For me, it would be, it's a lot of, you've seen it all over, I'm sure, but I really want to go shoot tuna. A big yellowfin, I think, would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of one of those super cliche things that everybody wants to go do it, but it's something that it really comes down to, you've got to make sure that your gear is perfect. If any one piece of your gear is, messed up or not up to par, then I mean these 300, 400-pound fish, I mean, they're so strong, and they're just going to test your gear to its limits. And so it's really kind of would be something that I want to do to be able to, see if I can, make it happen.
And we set people up to go shoot tuna all the time.
Oh yeah.
So it's hard because I'm sending all these guys off, to go see all these cool pictures, and I'm like, oh, I know I can do this. I just need the opportunity. So it's something I'll have to do one day.
And keep hitting the gem, right? Too. The tunas are strong, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Golly. That would be amazing.
Yeah. How about if there was one fish left, and all you can do is shoot one fish? What would it be?
Mine might be the same. My favorite fish to eat is the mahi.
Oh yeah.
So I could probably eat that a lot. So I would say that's probably mine.
For me, it would probably be the favorite fish to hunt would be a cobia. And the reason why is because here in Palm Beach and a couple of other places, they follow bull sharks a lot. And bull sharks and rays and turtles, but mainly are in our area bull sharks. So for us, we have to follow after the bull sharks and shoot the cobia literally off the back of the bull shark, and so it's really an exciting experience. It's kind of a little bit crazy. A lot of people think that we're nuts for doing it, but you learn the bull sharks' behaviors and their attitude in the water, and so you know when to pull the trigger and when not to pull the trigger. If it was a fish that I had to eat forever, one last fish, it would probably be the mutton snapper. They are really, really good to eat in my opinion.
Yeah, you bull shark hunters are nuts. We posted a video on our site of these young guys in college just out there plucking cobia off the backs of these bull sharks. I mean, just inches. I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
All right, so last one before we get into little questions, little quiz questions. If you could go out there diving and spearfishing with anyone living in the world today, who would it be? Take anyone out there on the water and have a good time.
I would probably say Bob Croft. He's the father of freediving. I've met him a few times and things like that, but pretty much my grandpa's age. But I think it would be a lot of fun to be out on the boat with and learn some things with and hear his stories and things like that.
I'm sure the stories could go on for ages. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
for sure. For me, it would probably have to be my dad actually. He's really we've spearfished together since, well, I mean, I learned how to spearfish from him. We used to do it a lot on scuba until I started to kind of get into the whole freedive world, and so he's probably one of the most fun guys that I have on the boat. We go out and we're always cutting up and joking and having a good time. And then just my kind of close, tight-knit dive buddies. It's nothing can replace having to know what you and your buddy are thinking without actually saying anything, right? And so it's so important that you can be in the water and kind of just shoot each other a look, and that what's happening, what's going on. You don't have to pick your head, especially when we're shooting cobia off bull sharks. We need to know that our buddies has our back.
Yeah.
So I've got a tight knit group of guys that I trust, that are going to be my safeties and that are going to make sure that they don't chase after a fish when I'm on the bottom. They're going to be watching me, which is the important part.
Good stuff, guys. All right, so now the real fun begins. So we, as you know, my brother and I are raising money and awareness for the Wounded Warriors, and we're giving $5,000 of our own money to them, and we're going to donate that $5,000 in 3 people's names of all the people we like you that we interview. And it's going to be based on who gets the most of these questions right. And I've got 7 of them. You have a distinct advantage because you have 2 people. Everyone we interviewed so far has only had 1. However, there are some hunting and outdoor questions in here as well. So there's quite a few random questions.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
Hope so.
As ready as we'll be.
And there's no phoning a friend or anything like that either. You guys are on your own. No using your internet. All right. What does a boat do when powered up, when it rises to the surface and levels off?
Come on, plane.
Yep. Start off with a somewhat easy one.
Okay. All right.
Well done. 1 for 1. If I was fishing for salmon, would I be fishing in freshwater or saltwater?
Freshwater.
It's actually a trick question. It's either or.
Oh.
Brackish water.
It's a trick question. It could be freshwater or saltwater.
Ah.
Hey, there's some tricks. There's some tricks in here.
Yeah, now we know.
This is an interesting one here. Deer are very. So this is on the hunting outdoors. Deer are very successful reproducers. Their conception rate is 99%. True or false?
I read something about deer recently, but
Really?
but it doesn't have anything to do with that.
I'll say true.
True is correct. Isn't that crazy?
All right. That's good.
Nuts. All right, that's two. This was an intro. Okay, I couldn't get this one. What do you call the excessive line on a fly reel which attaches the fly line to the reel?
Back line?
It's pretty doggone close. Backing or back line? We'll take it.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
Backing? Nice.
You got that, Luke?
That's it. Three right. That's good. We'll take it.
All right, sweet.
Awesome.
All right. If they keep getting more right, we're gonna have people that are gonna be they're gonna say no way. This disqualifies because we have two people. All right. What does the color blue mean on a national forest map? What does it stand for?
A national forest map?
Yeah. So if you're looking at a national forest map and you see the color blue, what is that signifying?
A lake.
Water.
Water. There it is.
I want to say this is one of those trick questions again.
Oh, boy.
Like high trees. I don't know.
So we got two more.
Okay.
This is a camping one. Which is warmer for your hands, mittens or gloves?
I would say mittens. I'm going to go with mittens.
Because mittens don't have fingers.
Mittens
right?
don't have fingers. That's
Yeah.
what
Mittens is right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think we're not going to get any of these right.
All right, this is another camping one that got thrown in here. Which makes the best firewood? Willow, pine, spruce, or maple? Which makes the best firewood? Willow, pine, spruce, or maple?
Whew.
Probably not willow.
Yeah. Spruce, maybe?
I can use my needles and stuff.
Yeah. That's you. I'll let you get this one.
Spruce or maple. Well, maple's a really hard wood,
Right.
and so
10 seconds.
maybe pine. Let's say pine.
It was actually maple.
Ah!
Guys, so that's 5, Luke.
That's 5. Yeah, well done.
But
Cool.
you guys tied in the lead. We only have 2 people who've had 5. That's awesome. So, and you guys were one of them. So, and Jonathan, you better be lucky that Kelsey was there to have your back. She got.
I know.
Well, guys, hey, tell us where to find you. Obviously, we know the area, but tell us websites, how to follow you on Instagram, Twitter, and where we can go like you guys and follow all the cool stuff you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, you can check out our website. It's www.FLfreedivers.com, and this will give you everything from our course schedule to products you need to buy and purchase. There's a whole ridiculous amount of things on our website that you can kind of search through. If you want to kind of be in touch with us, Facebook and Instagram is a really good way. You can search at FLfreedivers. That's our Instagram name, and you can also find us that way via Facebook as well. And then we are on Twitter as well. We're not as active on Twitter, but Instagram and Facebook is really where it's at.
And you can always call the shop too. Our phone number is 561-848-0678.
Cool. Or you can just come in there and meet you guys and see it for yourself, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyone in South Florida needs to go in and see it. And also, too, I want to point out, because we talked earlier before this, that you guys have some courses, not necessarily for young kids, because at some point you're too young to go out there and do it, but even for some youngsters. So parents out there, you want to do something really cool with your kids, go join Jonathan and Kelsey. And what is it, 12? Is that the minimum age?
Yeah, minimum age for the junior freediving course is 12 to 15 years old. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. When my daughter's 12, I'm coming to see you guys for sure. So what a cool experience. And otherwise, FLfreedivers.com. Make sure to go there, and all their little social media stuff is at the top too. You can find it there and check you guys out. So thank you all again for all that you do. And Luke and I look forward to meeting you in person one of these days. So.
Absolutely, sounds great.
The one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to spearfish a cobia off a bull shark's back yet.
Yet.
Unless you've got like adult diapers for me in my wetsuit. All right, guys. Over and out. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later.
All right.